So the Seattle Seahawks just suffered an absolute humiliating defeat against the Baltimore Ravens. The score was 37-3, and it's like, how do you recover yourself from that? 37-3. Now, before we get into this video, hit that like button, subscribe, notification, donations, whatever you can do to help grow this channel. Now, let's get into the video. So let's just put it simply. Seattle Seahawks just got absolutely blown out, 37-3. This game was pretty much over, like, basically the moment Baltimore just started scoring. Once it got to like 17-3, or once it got to the 20s, I figured that it was over. Now, how it started, I mean, it started okay, where at least you had the Seahawks defense making some stops. But other than that, you couldn't stop the run game from the Baltimore Ravens, which the Seahawks were expected to, since they did make that trade for Leonard Williams from the New York Giants, but that didn't seem to work. And then the running game of the Baltimore Ravens, it was Mitchell and Edwards and Lamar Jackson all by themselves. They all contributed to 3 touchdowns with the exception of Lamar Jackson. Lamar didn't really have to do much in the passing. He was 21 of 26, 187 yards, only got sacked once, so he was very efficient in this game. But then you had, for the offensive end, and here's the thing, it's not like I'm completely blaming it on the defense at all, because when the defense was out there on the field just too many times, didn't give them any time to breathe, because you had Geno Smith just throwing like 3 and outs. He threw an interception. He was forcing passes. And when you have something like that happening, you're not going to win any kind of games like that at all. And Geno Smith's stat line, 13 of 28 for 157 yards. So that's not much at all. And then the running game was even worse. And we thought the running game was going to do something against this Ravens front line, which I thought they were going to at least get something done, because that was going to be the way to survive this game. But Kenneth Walker on 9 carries, 16 yards. Zach Charbonnet, 4 carries for 8 yards. So they really didn't get anything out of this. And then Geno Smith, 2 yards, 2 carries for 4 yards. And Geno was sacked 4 times. So the offensive line was just absolutely overwhelmed. And the Ravens are one of the best teams for the sacks. And it's like the Seahawks should have came up with a different plan. Like, I think they should have at least tried to do anything else but just do traditional run and pass, because Geno Smith couldn't find anyone. DK Metcalf couldn't get open at all, where he only got 1 reception for 50. So maybe it was like 1 lucky pass. Jackson Smith-Jigba got 6 receptions, but he made that really key drop early in the game that may have changed the whole complexity of the game, which pretty much led to eventually the Ravens just scoring just completely outright. Now, my concerns for this game is Geno Smith. Like, I know people don't want to hear it. They love Geno Smith. He says everything everyone wants to hear. He knows how to connect with the fans. But here's the thing. He's not performing games. And here's how he's been playing in his last few. Let's take a look at all the games. There was the Rams. He was absolutely atrocious, 112 yards. And the Detroit Lions, 328, which that was a good game, by the way. Now, the Carolina Panthers, he didn't play great. He played against a really bad team. 296 yards, sure, but he threw a pick. The Giants game, he was awful. He was not that good either. 13 of 20, but he didn't really do much. Now, he didn't have to do much, but he could have done more. The Cincinnati game, yes, he threw 323 yards, but he threw key interceptions. Arizona, I wasn't even impressed. So yeah, the numbers are nice, but there are critical moments where he should be throwing touchdowns at those red zones, the red zone, but he's not doing it. And then today, in the Browns game, he threw 2 interceptions. And now today, he was just terrible. He just simply disappointed. But which makes me question that I just don't think Geno Smith is the quarterback to take this team to the Super Bowl. I think after this season, no matter what happens, they got to find someone that is willing to learn under Geno Smith. Because I don't think Drew Lock is going to be the guy. I just don't see it. I mean, there's not really much to say because defense was absolutely overwhelmed. And they're going to be more overwhelmed since the offense couldn't do anything. But to go forward, hopefully they will rebound well against the Washington Commanders, who they are playing next week. And hopefully they can come up with a win. But I would say pay attention to Geno Smith. He's not playing as well as he has done last year. He just isn't. Like, he's already at 6 interceptions this season. And if you go to 2022 at this point, let's see how Geno Smith did around those time. He threw 11 interceptions. Now let's take a look and see how he was doing at that point on when it was. Now it's 5-3, so 8 games in. Going to go to his game logs of 2022. But he's definitely not doing as well as he did last year. When it was last season, 8 games in, he threw only 3 interceptions. And now he's at 6 interceptions. So it has doubled. And he had much better games and he was much more efficient as a quarterback. So hopefully for the second half of the season, hopefully he can figure it out. And hopefully he just stops being so hard on himself. But I don't really trust this guy to close the games. He's a great backup quarterback, but I just don't think he's the quarterback to take you to the Super Bowl. But those are my thoughts on this game. Let me know your thoughts in the comments on this game in general. Hopefully the Seahawks will rebound. But until then, they got a lot of work to do in order to not only win this division, but to hopefully get the Super Bowl. But it seems wishful thinking at this point. But anyways, that'll do it for me. Once again, hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification, and everyone have a good day. And go Hawks.